It's October 29, 2020. I'm Todd Dunn, and today I'm back in the boat shed to show you the progress I've been making in repairs to Tortuga and one other project that I've been working on since my last video. So let's take a look. This picture shows you a bit of my other project. On the left, close to us, you can see Tortuga's bow, and just past that is the bow of my sailboat, Sequester. Yep, we hauled her out on the 20th, 9 days ago, and since then I have been making sure Sequester is ready for the winter and working on Tortuga. So I'm going to walk back and take a picture and show you what I've been doing on Tortuga.
This photograph shows the area I've been working in on Tortuga. I'm using a still picture because there simply wasn't enough light for my camera to shoot video. So I'm going to narrate the still picture. This is about the best angle I can get to show you the spot I was working on. The reason for that is I didn't start working on this until after the sailboat was in the shed next to Tortuga. And in this particular area, the sailboat's about 18 inches from Tortuga. So this is a very tight area to work in. I'm working on a step ladder here, and it's, as I said, tight. When you're up there with your head at the level that you're working at, it's hard to get more than about 10 inches from the work. And that makes it a little tricky. At any rate, what I did here is on the lower part, just above where the rub rail is, I did a plank edge repair and had to remove part of the rub rail to do that. And then above that, I replaced 3 plank ends. Now, these are a little different from the repairs I did lower on the boat. And in this case, I did use butt blocks. The upper and lower planks I used existing butt blocks, and in the middle I installed a new butt block. And the reason I did that is largely because it's very difficult to cut a scarf in up here simply because of the tight working area. And yes, I could have done it, but it would have been really tricky, particularly the upper plank, simply because there isn't much room between the two boats. So I put in these 3 planks. The reason this wood here was in poor shape is that I have a deck leak. Now I think the deck leak is at the edge of the deck because sometime in the past, I don't know when, Tortuga's foredeck was fiberglassed. And when they did it, they put down plywood, but they just stapled it down over the top of the old deck and then fiberglassed over that. But they did not carry the plywood all the way out to the edge of the deck. They just carried it out to the tow rail and butted it up against the tow rail. And over the years, the seam between the tow rail and the plywood has leaked. That's allowed water to get down to the surface of the old deck, and it just wicked up between the plywood and the old deck, and it's rotted out the old deck and also allowed water to run down inside the hull and rot out these 3 plank ends. So that's where the water got in, and that's what necessitated replacing these 3 plank ends. Now this is just part of a bigger repair, and I'll come back to what the next stage of this repair will be at the end of the video. In addition to replacing the 3 plank ends, I also put in 2 sister frames that extend a couple of planks down below the repair area into the hull, and attach those to the lower planks, because the frame ends up at the top, just below the deck, were in terrible shape. In some cases, I could just reach in with my fingers and pull wood out, or what used to be wood. So now there are 3 new sister frames in there, and the 3 plank ends. What I still have to do here is trim off all the bungs, caulk the seams, putty the seams, and then paint the wood. I'm not going to be able to trim those bungs off for a while, probably not until next week, because for the next several days we're supposed to have rather a cold snap with temperatures down into the 20s at night. As a matter of fact, we're actually supposed to get snow tonight. And since I glued the bungs in with epoxy, it's going to take them a while for the epoxy to cure, and consequently, I won't be able to trim those bungs until probably next Monday or maybe even Tuesday. So I won't be finishing this repair off until sometime next week. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to move on to the next and final stage of work on Tortuga for this fall.
Well, I thought I'd end this video today from a place with a little more light than the boat shed, which was really too dark to shoot much video in. So I'm over at Acadia National Park at the Seawall picnic area, looking out across the western way toward Great Caranberry Island right now, and then as we pan over just out into the Atlantic Ocean, there are the Duck Islands in the distance. So I'm not going to stay here too long because it's starting to rain, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about boat work for the rest of this fall. Okay, the boat work that I have planned for the rest of the fall is one project aboard Tortuga, and that is I am going to open up the foredeck right at the forward end of the cabin house on the port side and repair about a 2 by 3 foot area. Basically, this is the same thing I did last summer on the starboard. I'm going to open up the foredeck and remove the planking for the overhead in that area, put in new planking. I've got the wood, I just have to paint it, and then after that I will rebuild the foredeck. I just picked up the marine plywood that's going to go on top of the planking, and I have the fiberglass and epoxy. Now this repair is going to take a while when I get to the fiberglass and epoxy stage, largely because it's getting cold. Matter of fact, it's supposed to go down below freezing tonight, and tomorrow night, and also Saturday night it's supposed to get down to like 28 degrees. So it's going to be a little nippy, and that's going to slow down the cure of the epoxy I use on the fiberglass. It's going to probably take 4 or 5 days for it to cure out. It'll cure a little faster during the days when it gets up into the middle 40s, but at night it'll almost stop when the temperature drops down. So instead of curing overnight, I'm figuring 4 or 5 days for a cure. I'm going to try to film that repair, but I'm going to have to be working with artificial light, and that may make it a little difficult, and I don't know if I'll be able to actually produce usable video, but I'll try. So anyway, that's where I am right now in my fall boat work and what I expect to do. So I'm going to have to end this video because it is starting to rain and I don't want to get my camera wet. It is not a waterproof camera. So thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so you'll find out when my next exciting video is posted. Thanks again for watching.